and the memories that are associated with My Mood by MFSB. If you're from Philly, you know. If you're from the DMV, you know. It's just one of those instrumental tracks that just raised you. It raised a lot of us. Everybody, you're right on time for another ride on the Groove Line with your boy Chris Stevens. We made it to the midpoint of the week. Hopefully your week is going well so far. And as usual, we like to slow it down around these parts on Wednesdays. And today we're going to talk about an instrumental that has roots in Philly, has a long storied history in Philly, and also has one in the DMV. We're going to be talking about MFSB's My Mood, and this comes from the 1975 album Universal Love. If you guys are longtime subscribers of the channel, we've only been around about a year, but I did a MFSB Black Music Month series last June about how the band split up between Universal Love and the Philadelphia Freedom album. But the Universal Love album is where My Mood comes in. Now, that was written by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. That's what the credits say. And it's an instrumental track that closes out the album that was pretty much a really dance-heavy album. I think we're going to do an MFSB review on its own later on down the line. But My Mood is just absolutely chill. It's laid back. It's relaxing. You get these nice little horn parts in there. And, you know, you have the strings in there as well. And this song is important for a couple of reasons. Because this is Tony Brown. Now, he passed away in the winter of 2021, but Tony Brown was the voice of Philadelphia's WDAS-FM's Quiet Storm for 45, almost 46 years. Unfortunately, he had a series of strokes and had to retire from radio, and of course passed away a couple of years after that. But one thing that I always remember about Tony is on Thursday nights, because Thursday nights was always Old School Thursday. It was alternately Old School Thursday or Throwback Thursday. And Tony, after about the 8 or 9 o'clock hour, actually, yeah, after 8, about 9 o'clock, the sun had already gone down, because, you know, he had his own theme song. If you WDAS fans remember, Quiet Storm, dun, 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 dun. Turn it on. He would play his theme song going into commercial for like the first hour, then 8, 9 o'clock. Every commercial break thereafter, he would play My Mood. But I didn't know what it was at the time. I was a young kid thinking, man, I love this instrumental. I can't wait to find out what the hell it is. And I didn't find out until the summer after he passed. Because here's a little, you know, Chris Stevens fact. I really, as much as I like research and stuff, I still have a long ways to go in terms of just using common sense. So Spotify has this thing called Discover Weekly, if you're not familiar. And one day, as I was, you know, just letting Discover Weekly run around the house, I heard that first couple, you know, I heard that boom, boom, you know, that little bass, boom, 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 and then the vibes by Vince Montana. I was like, oh shit, that's it. And then I ran back to my computer, tripped over my own damn feet, almost broke my neck, but got back to the computer and saw Spotify's, and it said My Mood, MFSB. I said, oh boy, we found it. We finally found it. And that was a wonderful experience for me. And this is another gentleman that we want to give love to. Again, this is for our DMV folks. This is the late, great Mr. Jim Vance, who was one of the main anchors of Washington, D.C.'s NBC affiliate News 4 until he passed away in 2017. And he used to close out the shows on Fridays with a nice little commentary with this song as his intro, My Mood. And I was living in the DMV for the longest time, and I didn't have cable, so I wasn't able to watch TV very much. And everybody's like, Chris, NBC's not cable, but I just didn't, I just never really took the time to get an antenna or whatever. But when I heard about that this was his theme song, I said, man, I got to give Mr. Vance some love. And he's probably one of the most popular Black people in the DMV to ever exist. I mean, granted, Black people in the DMV, hello, there's Chuck Brown, Marvin Gaye was from there, Marion Barry, all these different sort of, legendary folks who called DC and the DMV area home, but people still remember Jim Vance very fondly to this day. And when I found out that he used My Mood as his outro music for the weekend, I was like, he had to be the coolest cat alive. And those were two proud Black men born in the era of World War II and civil rights, came of age in the civil rights movement and different things of that nature. And brothers like that are brothers that we need to lean on if we're going to make it through whatever this society has for us moving forward. And I just think about what Tony meant to me as a music lover. Like, I always wanted to be the next Tony Brown. Then I remembered I do not have Tony Brown's voice. Tony Brown was a one of a kind. If you've never heard him talk, if you've never heard the Tony Brown Quiet Storm, just go check it out on YouTube. There's some moments on there where he's like, a brown night with Tony Brown in the Quiet Storm on 105.3 WDAS-FM. And like, his voice was just so rich, and that baritone is just like, oh my God. I thought one day I would actually be able to, have a little bit of a baritone. No such luck. And you need a deep voice, man or woman, to be a Quiet Storm DJ. So that canceled me out, unfortunately. But Tony is just someone that I'll always remember because he not only played the best of Philly soul, he would play deep cuts from different artists. Like, the first time I heard Something in the Past from One Way, I was like, what is this? Because it's still, that song is still one of the strangest instrumental pieces of music I've ever heard from a Quiet Storm track, but it makes sense because it's almost like, it's almost ghostly. I'll probably talk about One Way at some point. I'm trying to get Al Hudson on the show, so cross your fingers on that regard. But just remembering Tony and how my mood just factored into my love for old school R&B and Quiet Storm music. And the Quiet Storm turns 50 this year. It's important to note that. And I'm also going to be on a podcast next month, the Black Etc. podcast with Ian Needham. He interviewed me a while back. He said, Chris, that episode is ready to rock and roll. So I'll be looking forward to you. What's the word I'm looking for here? Promoting it. Yes. And I'll be promoting it. So when you guys see me pushing that link, please go click it, because I talked about the Quiet Storm for 45 minutes. Could have done a whole 2 hours, but we didn't need the whole 2 hours. So yeah, the Quiet Storm turns 50 this year, and the memories that are associated with My Mood by MFSB. If you're from Philly, if you're from the DMV, it's just one of those instrumental tracks that just raised you. It raised a lot of us. Black, man, woman, it raised us all. And these two gentlemen, Tony Brown and Jim Vance, they were black men of pride, black men of eloquence, black men that we looked to and looked forward to seeing and listening to every day of the week. And it's important that we remember those gentlemen as well as the music that they use to get their message across. And that's why MFSB's My Mood is probably, if it's not my favorite instrumental track of all time, it's definitely top 5. There are a few of those up there, because there are a lot of great instrumentals, but My Mood just nostalgia, man. It's a wonderful thing. But yes, if you have any memories of My Mood by MFSB, if you're from the DMV, I want to know your memories of Jim Vance. If you're from Philly, let's talk about Tony Brown. We can talk about Tony. I can talk about Tony all day. So let's do it in the comments. So that's going to do it for this ride on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate you, wonderful people, as always. Contact information will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe and tap that notification bell so you get notified of all the new videos that drop on this channel. And don't forget to like and comment on these videos, because as you know by now, your boy talks back in the comments. So thank you guys for riding with me on the Groove Line. And until the next time we ride, may you find the groove, or may the groove find you.